Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Tiffany. If you're new here, I am an expat living in Greece, and today I'm going to talk to you about all of the changes that have happened in March to the Greece travel restrictions, both to get into the country and also some of the things that have changed within Greece. As of yesterday, March 15th, the passenger locator form has been eliminated. So no matter your status, you do not need to fill out the passenger locator form. I did announce this when it happened over on my community tab, but if you're not subscribed, you may have missed it. So if you want to get all of the updates, including the next video that will come out in April about the travel restrictions, make sure you subscribe and hit the little notification bell next to it to get the notifications when I have a new video come out. So if you're coming, what do you need? Well, you still either need to be vaccinated or you need to provide a test. So if you're vaccinated and you've only received 2 shots, then your vaccination here in Greece is good for 9 months. If you have been boosted, or let's say you've got Johnson & Johnson and you got a second dose and you're considered boosted, then there is no expiration date on those vaccines right now. I don't see that changing anytime soon, but if it does, I will let you know. If you're going to come on a negative test, you can either take a PCR test that has been taken 72 hours before arrival or a rapid test 48 hours before arrival. This also applies to kids if they are over the 5 and over. Many people have been asking me about the testing and vaccination requirements for kids, and those are them. So if your kid is below 5, or if you're in a country where vaccination isn't possible yet because of that age group, then you just need to make sure that you get them a test before you come on your trip to Greece. I don't know how this is going to affect paperwork checking in the order it will happen, because before, when you flew to Greece, your paperwork such as your passenger locator form and your vaccination status was checked when you checked into your flight wherever you were coming from, and then when you arrived in Greece, they were checking just the passenger locator form depending on the airlines to do the job of checking the vaccination cards or certificates, whatever you have. So I imagine that they will still be checking for your vaccine or your test at the airline counter, but then there may be that they check for those on arrival here in Greece. Since this just came into effect yesterday, I haven't heard back from anyone yet to know how it's going to work. It may mean that if you're making a connection that you need to allow for a little bit more time, at least in these first early weeks, because that may take a little bit longer than they planned for. What has changed in Greece itself? So a big thing that I've been asked about a lot is masks outside. That no one wants to wear a mask while they're sitting at the pool or at the beach. Thankfully, you don't have to worry about that now, because I think either the day before the PLF or the day after the PLF form change was announced, they announced that we no longer needed to wear masks outside. So problem eliminated, problem solved. So if you go to the beach, you don't need to wear one. If you're just out walking around, you don't need one now. They have said if you're in a crowd, they would, you need to wear it. So, you know, for your own safety, it's probably a good idea if you're like in a really crowded spot outside, then you should probably put one on. Another thing that isn't new and hasn't changed, but I want to mention here because it's something that you might want to prepare for before you get to Greece, is if you're going to be going into a supermarket or taking public transportation, such as a bus or the subway here in Athens, you need to be wearing some specific kinds of masks. The first, you can wear an N95 or an FFP2, or you can wear 2 masks in those situations. Masks are pretty easily available here, like you can get them at the pharmacy, you can get them at the supermarket, although I don't know if you can get the N95/FFP2 at the supermarket, but you can definitely get them at pharmacies, and they come in all sorts of colors. I see people wearing them on the metro all the time. The other thing I keep getting asked about a lot is, well, what will the rules be in September or August or next year? And I can't really answer those questions, unfortunately. Greece has really changed every time they've needed to make a change. And usually what happens is they announce a change and it goes into effect a few days later. So for example, right now you can't really go inside too many places if you're not vaccinated, and I don't see that changing until much later in the summer when we have our numbers go down. Unfortunately, our hospitalization numbers are not low enough yet, I don't think, for them to eliminate that anytime soon. But of course, when they do make those changes, I will definitely let you guys know. I do believe they're coming. It's just a matter of getting those hospitalization numbers down. And once it gets warmer here, hopefully that will happen, because that's usually what happens. That's what's happened for the last 2 years. And I cannot believe we are still talking about this 2 years later. It has literally been 2 years almost since we went into our first lockdown here in Greece. The other thing that I've been getting asked about a lot lately is what should people do about the war in Ukraine and their upcoming trip to Greece. And I cannot believe that after 2 years of talking about COVID that I now have to talk about war in a European country. I actually had to stop recording and redo this because I started to cry the time before. So before I talk about anything else, I just want to say that everyone's hearts and mine go out to the people of Ukraine, and that we hope that this war ends soon and that you can return home and try to restart your lives. Obviously, this is a concern for a lot of people. It is not super close to Greece, but I understand that it seems very close, and I understand. I will tell you this, that right now I feel very safe in Greece. I'm not worried. I'm not packing my bags to go back to the US or anything. So there are a couple of things. If you've already bought your ticket and you still feel like you want to come, come, because your plane ticket price is only going to go up from here, because even before the war started, gas prices, fuel prices were going up. So if you cancel your ticket now and then rebook later, because we all hope that this is over in a few weeks, that ticket will be more expensive, because even when the war ends in Ukraine, then those prices are still going to go up. That's not going to end anytime soon, unfortunately. If you haven't booked your ticket but you're still determined to come, I would say book it as soon as you can, because prices are only going to continue to rise. If you haven't booked and you're not feeling comfortable, I would just wait. It's worth waiting, a couple of more weeks to see what happens. If the ticket prices go up, they may go up by $100, $200. If you can afford that, then I would say wait. I will say that if you're coming, or if you decide to come later and you're still concerned, or if we're still in this, unfortunately, then I would invest in some travel insurance, particularly travel insurance that covers you for cancel for any reason, because most travel insurances do not cover acts of war. So you need to have the kind that's canceled for any reason. So that way, if something happens, let's say they cancel your flight because of what's happening, you can get your money back, or if you decide you're just not comfortable, then you can cancel. I will put some links to some options down below. Now, I have not researched these to know whether or not they cover you during acts of war, or what their stance is on COVID, or if they have a cancel at any time policy, because not everyone does. You should also be aware that the cancel at any time policies do cost more money for obvious reasons. So just keep that in mind. But I know a lot of Americans don't usually travel with travel insurance, comparatively, especially to the people in Europe. But it's definitely something that you want to look into. I hope that helps answer some of your questions. If I haven't, you can ask me down in the comments below and I will get back to you. If you can tell me when you're coming and where in Greece you're going, sometimes that eliminates me having to ask you a few more qualifying questions to answer your question, so that would be great. Don't worry if you forget, I will still answer you, no worries there. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.